welcome back. I am at Jakarta International Airport once again. It's a very early flight, and it was kind of a little hectic at first, but I made it. My original booked taxi by Jet from last night did not show up this morning, so I was a little anxious to get to the airport, so I had to book using Grab to get here. Paid a little bit extra, roughly around $3 more, so it was like 60K IDR, and made it at least. I was a little scared being alone without Ged. But I'm here. I'm very early. The flight is at 5 o'clock. I'm very sorry about the noise from upstairs. There's a lot of construction. This is a new airport. It's amazing. It's huge. I don't know if you can see. Guess not. But yeah, so I'm off to Berau, and then from there on, I catch a taxi, 3-hour taxi to the port, and from the port it's like another 2 hours to Derawan Island. So it's a long day of travel again. That's the life, right? That's the life. All right, time to get some 360 video going. I'm gonna put this away. I'll see you on the plane. What's up, everyone? Made it onto the plane. Got my seat switched, so I'm happy with the window seat. Yeah, it's gonna be hopefully a quick flight, 2-hour flight to Valley Pickapan. I think that's how you pronounce it. So, on a long journey. Pretty appropriate to watch the Meg for my guys. Perfect. Alright, we're just about to take off. See you in Derawan in 8 hours. What's that? Oh my God. Channel. Made it to Berau and heading to the port now. The flight was pretty quick, 45 minutes, and yeah, it was good. It was quiet, small plane, and my luggage was on the plane. That's what I was a little worried about. But now I'm with the driver. We're heading. Should take us 2 to 3 hours to get there. All right, day's looking good. Looking good. What's up, everyone? Made it to Derawan, and I'm actually in the water bungalow. Just checked in, paid my outstanding fees, did a short briefing of what's around, and now I'm just chilling. Just gonna unpack, get my gear sorted out, and then probably just grab some water upstairs and maybe head into town, look for lunch, and then come back for another briefing, meet with the dive masters. So, but as you can see, we look out to this every morning. I believe that's our boat, one of our boats maybe, and you can see the water is pretty clear. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna settle in and then get some water and food. All right, see ya. Alright, back from lunch. Got a quick nasi goreng and a drink. This is outside this mom and pop shop on the main street. But this is what they call the chill out zone, where you just chill out. Currently everyone's out. Look at the hammock, bean bags, where you just chill, chat, discuss how you dive and whatnot. But yeah, so far so good. I'm gonna get my tan on.
If you can't hear me at any point, stick up your hand and I'll slow down. If I talk too quickly, please do let me know. But otherwise, we'll get stuck in. And myself and Janice, we are very lucky to be here. Instead of actually only Manta week, we're here for a whole month. So this is the third year running that we've come to Sagalaki, and it's the newest project that we're trying to grow. And so, tonight, we're going to listen to The Secret Life of Manta Rays. And it does, I know some of you guys, quite a few of you guys have heard it before, so sorry about that. But for those of you that have just come in or a couple of days ago, we're going to be chatting a bit about Manta 101, so basically all the basics on Manta Rays. Some of their biology, their behavior, data and research and how we do it, and a bit about conservation. So it's about 45 to 50 minutes. I know you've all had a long day, especially on Kakaban Day, it is very tiring. So please, if you fall asleep, have a cheeky nap, I'm not offended. Grab yourself a beer, the bathroom you know is downstairs, but just relax and enjoy it. So a little bit of background information about Marine Megafauna Foundation, which is quite a mouthful, we normally say MMA. So why are we here? Where did it start? It was developed by these two scientists, Dr. Jayjen, who's a specialist on manta rays, and Dr. Simon Pierce, who's a specialist on whale sharks. So they started the organization back in 2005 in Mozambique at a place called Tofu Beach. So they came together with the common goal of saving ocean giants from extinction. Now, okay, how did we get all the way to Indonesia? A couple, Peter and Helen, they trained with these guys in Mozambique and came over to Nusa Penida in Bali, where there's a resident population of mantas, and they started up a smaller organization called Aquatic Alliance. That was in 2012. Then at the same time as this, we had Ellie, our current lead researcher. She was over in Komodo, where there's another resident population of mantas, and she started to study that population. So we had two different ones, sort of with data growing simultaneously. Then in 2016, everyone kind of joined forces and decided to go under the blanket of Marine Megafauna Foundation Southeast Asia. So it's the small sister of our global office, and our headquarters is in Nusa Penida in Bali. So we got these two other students working on their PhDs out in Raja Ampat, as well as working in Komodo, and here in Sagalaki, our newest population that we're trying to track. There's lots of challenges and lots of new and exciting things, but it is still quite a new organisation in this part of the world. So onto the stars of tonight's show, our manta rays, our big gentle giants. So they're the largest rays in the ocean. Some of them can get up to 7 meters, 7 to 8 meters from wingtip to wingtip. So they are really, really big. They're related to sharks and to other rays in the group, in the same subclass of elasmobranchs. So a characteristic of elasmobranchs is that they have a cartilage skeleton. Cartilage is what we have in our noses and in our ears. It's very lightweight, it's very flexible, and it makes it effective swimmers, like really quick. If you think about a shark or a manta or other types of rays, they are very quick swimmers. But the thing about cartilage, well, it's not bone. So this is half decomposed, and very soon there won't be anything much left at all. The only bony structure or bony part of the manta's body that they do have are actually tiny little manta teeth. So here you're looking at the front of the manta with eyes on either side of the head and its mouth open. And then in the lower part of the jaw, there's tiny little white dots. There's hundreds and hundreds of small manta teeth on a tooth back. So that one little bony structure is what's enabled people to kind of arrange mantas within the phylogeny of the fishes. So without getting too stuck into it, if we break it down really simply, we've got sharks as the oldest common ancestor, from which adapted are stingrays, from which adapted manta rays. Now, a lot of people, and I'm sure I'm not saying that to any of you guys, but a lot of people, especially in Bali, when they come to snorkel with the mantas, they have a bit of a misconception that it's the same thing as a stingray. Now, there are some massive differences between these two species. Just going to highlight a couple of the two. This is a marble ray, and we've got our common grey, blue-spotted stingray. So now stingrays have a bottom-dwelling existence. They spend their lives on the ocean floor. They are foraging and looking for little crabs and mollusks. They have eyes on the top of their head because they watch out for predators above them. They have a mouth on the bottom which they use to feed with. They also have a stinger or a barb which they use to defend themselves. Now look at that, manta rays are very, very different looking. Just first off, they have a diamond-shaped body. They have a pelagic existence, so the whole time they're swimming within the water column. They're not bottom dwellers like a stingray. Okay. So eyes on the side of the head, if they're living within the water column, they're watching out for predators around them. Also, what's quite different, we don't have a stinger. That's the main difference. They're completely harmless aside from stingrays. There's no stinger with the tail. And their predators, what they have against them, because they don't have a stinger, so what's going for them is their size and their speed. That's basically their defense, aside from the stinger. So now, let's just break it down a little bit about the body parts of the manta. We've got these cephalic fins, also what a stingray doesn't have. Very characteristic, there's floppy parts of the mouth. Terminal mouth at the end. These wings are called pectoral fins. And down there, at the bottom, we have the dorsal fin. So if you think like a shark, which is their ancestor or their relative, and they also have a dorsal fin. So hopefully tomorrow if we see them surface feeding, you might see a dorsal fin kind of sticking out of the water. A couple of us saw that the other day. We're diving. It's very cool. And of course we have a tail. And if you flip that manta over, we have 5 gills. Okay, and that's also a common characteristic with most of the species of sharks. They also have 5 gills. And then we've also got 5 times gills. And then this pelvic fin down at the bottom, it's like a paddle-like fin. So if we zoom right in and get a bit intrusive. Yeah.
So stingrays, but they also have gills, right?
Yeah, they also have gills. And so these paddle-like fins down at the bottom. And this is how we can tell if we're looking at a male or female. So with the female, you just see these 2 little fins because her reproductive organs are on the side. With the male, again, similar to what a shark has, it's got 2 claspers that grow and extend past the base of the tail as he matures. And so, if you happen to have a manta fly over your head and you see 2 big old ding-dongs, that's a male manta. So, let's have a look at this picture. Look down at the base of the tail, those 2 paddle fins. Do you think that that's a female or a male? female. And then, what about this one? What is down there at the base of the tail? What's going on? Anybody want to give it a shot? Male, female? Male. This is kind of a teenager. So ding dongs. This is a fairly young male. Aside from granddaddy, yeah, he's very adventure. Now, we've had a good look at the mantas. And what about this? Who knows what this is, and has anybody seen one of them whilst diving? So, looks very, very similar to a manta.
Mobula?
Yes, exactly. It's a mobula or devil ray. So, look at them side by side. And they do look very similar, especially if you look at that mouth area up at the front, they do have some differences. We always knew that they were related, but up until 2 years ago, we found out that they're actually more closely related than what was previously thought. So what am I saying? We had 2 species of manta rays, and we had 9 species of mobula rays. But then a man came and did a study and reshuffled everything. He said, no, they're not different enough to each have their own genus. We're going to combine them all into the same one. So now everyone got grouped together. And I'll explain what that means in a minute. Just to illustrate it for you differently, we have very similar species, each in their own genus, but in separate. Then he did a reshuffle, took away some of the species of mobula, which weren't and then merged the mantas in with them. So everyone's under one genus name, not mobula. So what does that mean? What's Lisa rambling on about? Well, the correct scientific name is no longer manta ray anymore. It's actually termed mobula ray. Like what we were looking on Manta the other day. It's supposed to be mobula Africa.
Just got back from dinner and the Manta 101 talk by Lisa. It was a great talk just to go over some basic things about manta rays and the types and species. But yeah, it was awesome. Got to meet my fellow divers, and they are all pros. One guy seemed to have over 1,000 dives, and I'm a little scared for tomorrow's dives. These guys are all like good, and they have all the gear, the camera gear and all that. So, it's gonna be tough, but it'll be fun. They're a good bunch of guys, all from Europe, and yeah, hopefully they don't mind the straggler for tomorrow's dives. Now, tomorrow we're heading over to Sangalanki Island, and we're gonna be hopefully diving. They say diving with manta rays, but mostly be snorkeling since they're coming up, they're feeding, and we'll be doing that, and then probably 2 other dives elsewhere. But that is a plan for tomorrow. I'm knackered right now. Just been trying to stay awake and fall asleep at the normal time. Tomorrow's early, wake up 6 a.m. start diving by 8, so I've got to have breakfast, get all my gear ready, and then it's a long day. Anyhow, that's pretty much for the day, guys. I will see you tomorrow on the boat, in the ocean, somewhere. All right, see ya.